Friendships that end can shake you at your core. It can shake your entire foundation, but it can birth your purpose. Last week, we talked about aligned versus unaligned friendships. And this week, I want to talk about why friendships that end hurt so bad. And I don't know if any of you have had a friendship heartbreak. And I'm speaking to the women right now. We tend to invest more emotionally in our female friendships than men do. The reason those friendships hurt worse, in my opinion, is because I believe that we intertwine our spirits with one another. I think energetically, whatever you believe in, I think energetically and spiritually, there can be soul ties in friendship. There is an emotional history, a shared trust. Many things you tell your homegirls that you won't even tell your partner. I believe that we tell our friends a lot of the deepest parts of ourselves. We tell each other the sacred things about us, which is why when they end, it is so heart-wrenching and can be sometimes confusing because you wonder, why am I hurting this much over somebody that I'm not romantically involved with? And it's so unfair that we don't get the space, especially as Black women, we don't get the space to really just talk about how much losing a female friend can really hurt. Because as Black women, we all we got. You know what I'm saying? And to have somebody that understands you, to have somebody that sees you is so important, especially in a world where we are unseen and unheard. So to be able to create a bond with someone like that, or if it starts off in a way that you feel is aligned, you lead with your heart of what you feel is right. So when I went through my situation, it was something that I had never experienced before. That type of pain I never experienced before. You know, with romantic relationship, I think we can just expect men to be men. So it's just like, okay, you know, this didn't work out. It hurt. It sucks. But another man is coming right around the corner. Who cares? That's just what men do. But with friendships, sometimes you don't see them coming, and you just expect more from your friends. And sometimes people can't come back from that. You know, people will shut people out and say, you know what? Especially women. I don't want to hang with no women no more. I don't want no more friends. I'm good. And at first I was like that. I was like, you know what? I'm cool. I don't want to be in no more friend groups. I'm done with all that shit. I'm just going to be a lone soldier. But I know that that's not really how things are supposed to go, because you're just repeating cycles again. If you just shut things down, you're just going to have to deal with it eventually, because detachment is only delayed grief. You're going to have to deal with your problems, or they're going to deal with you later on. That's why I went to therapy. I said, I have to deal with this. I need to recognize what mistakes that I made so I don't make them again. I was looking for the reason why. I wanted to know why it had to happen the way that it did. Why did I have to get so close to somebody only for it to end? My answers did not come from the other person. So I had to find the answers within myself. I had to create my own closure. And with closure comes forgiveness, which was very hard for me because I was a person who used to suppress. And when you suppress, you're not really forgiving. You're just storing it and forgetting about it and calling it forgiveness. I mean, it's forgiveness in your own limited way, but once you open up your heart and you excavate all that stuff, then you can truly forgive and learn how to release that stuff. And that's what I did. I learned forgiveness. I created closure by stop trying to understand the other person. I knew that my closure wasn't going to come from a conversation. It was going to come from realization. I started to think about, what is it that Kara wants? What makes me feel fulfilled in relationships? And once I identified that, I identified who I wanted connection with and who I didn't. And that gave me my closure. I identified what I wanted and who I wanted to be going forward. Understanding the other person was just a byproduct of understanding myself. I no longer took what they said or what they did personally, because I understood that we are all just surviving. We all dealing with our own shit. And a lot of times people's reaction has really nothing to do with us. People are just really trying to cope. They're trying to protect themselves. Forgiveness was not for them, but for me to release it so I can get that feeling out of my body. It does not have to come with reconciliation. I came to the understanding that we are just not meant to walk the same path in life. I have my journey, they have theirs. And I was able to not only forgive them, but I was able to forgive everything. I was able to forgive everyone and forgive myself for showing up in ways that was less becoming, even when I was just trying to survive. That rupture was the catalyst to my book. I knew that we as Black women don't have space or many conversations with each other to talk about what caused the rupture of friendship, and we don't talk about it openly with one another either. So when I wrote Healing Cost Me Everything, it was 100% spirit led. It was everything that I felt in those journals was pouring out of me into the book, and it was like a divine release. I didn't truly learn about forgiveness until the writing process, when I went back and I reread the things that I wrote. And I realized the patterns that I exhibited are the same patterns that everybody else exhibited, which allowed me to see things from a compassionate lens and know that a lot of times that people do things to you, they're not being malicious. Sometimes they are, but most of the time people are not being malicious. They just doing what they know how to do from their very limited capacity. It's not your problem. It's not your job to manage other people's emotions. What you have to do is identify what you want and align yourself with the things that move towards you. I believe that sharing our experiences can help the next person. When I went through my friendship heartbreak, I was searching to find other people who went through the same thing, to see what does it look like long term. Does it ever get better? And I found that it does, and a lot of women have these same feelings. Some women are still dealing with friendship heartbreak that they had 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Because we don't talk about what we feel. Those wounds, those female friendship wounds, come from mother wounds. And that's another conversation. Have you ever had a friendship breakup? Are you still dealing with it? How did you get over it? What does healing look like? What does forgiveness look like? What did it take for you to forgive them? Let me know how this video resonates with you. And I'll see y'all next week. This is Kara Speaks. Make sure that you go on Amazon.com to get Healing Cost Me Everything. I would really appreciate it. Make sure that you leave me a review. Tell me what you think about it. And I'll see y'all next time.